Today on Patrick's Workshop, I'm going to show you how to make these 3 different style clamping blocks for assembling plywood projects. Stay tuned and I will show you more.
Patrick's Workshop is sponsored by
Welcome back. Today, I got this SketchUp model going on. This is a mock-up of a project I have coming up. What I have in mind for this video is something that holds these boards vertical and holds them in the right exact spot and keeps them 90 to where I want them, and lines them up straight across the board so I can screw pocket screws in to secure it. Let's check Google to see if we can find what we need. Right angle clamping blocks. That'll work. Images. Everybody makes these kind of lame. Metal, not really interested in doing that today. Ooh, Rockler. How much are these? 30 bucks. Ooh. $12.99. That's kind of pricey. Not today. Let's see if we can go on SketchUp and make some of our own. So I drew up a model of what I want to do. So I'm going to use finger joints and join these together with glue. And these will be plenty strong. So let's get started. So I'm going to be using this chunk of 2x6. It's been laying around the garage for quite some time. So I'm going to trim off the end and cut these down to 8 inches long. I'm going to need 3 of these blocks. Then I'm going to take these over to my table saw and I'm going to rip them down to 1.25 inches. I'm going to be knocking off all the round edges. I'm also going to be cleaning up both faces. I want this thing to be nice and square and straight with sharp corners. So 1.25 inches by 1.25 inches, 8 inches long. I'm going to make a dozen of these. Like I said on this project, we're going to be using finger joints, so I installed my 1/4 inch dado stack. I'm going to be using my quickly assembled finger joint jig that slides on my miter gauge, and it will have a 1/4 inch gap with a 1/4 inch space with a 1/4 inch finger to properly align these finger joints. Here on my SketchUp model, you can see I have the 2 pins or 2 cuts you're going to make with 3 fingers. So I'm going to place it onto the jig, pushed right against the finger, and I'm going to square it up with my square and clamp it down. This way I can push it through the blade and get the first cut on the money. Now I got the first cut, I'm going to put the hole I created over the finger and square it up again and then push it through the blade. It's easy as that. This is a pretty simple project, and now my piece matches my model. So on to the second piece. I installed the first piece back on it where the second cut was made, put the second piece up against it, making sure it's touching, square it up, clamp it down real tight, and then we're able to push it through the blade. Now that we got the first cut made, we can push the first cut up against the finger this time, square it up, clamp it down, and run it through the blade for the second groove. And now we have a spot for the finger to sit. We can just put the piece over the groove, over the finger, square it up again, and run it through. And we'll do this for all the pieces. Now it totally matches the SketchUp model. Now we'll be able to slip them together, and it should be a pretty nice fit joint. Plenty of room for the glue, and when you clamp it, you'll have a nice square 90-degree block. Here I'm going to use some good quality glue. I'm going to run it in there. I'm going to use extra glue, wipe down the excess, squeeze it together, put a clamp on it, and check it with my square. These ones look good, so we'll let them sit and we'll come back to them. Now that they've been sitting for a minute, we'll check them with a square. They look pretty good. I'll take them over to the battle sander and just take off a little bit of nothing really, just the glue. And these things are done. These L brackets or right angle clamps will be able to hold my piece in position like here on my model. They'll keep it from moving while I screw it together. This is exactly what I want. But I think I can improve on the idea. It'll hold the piece flush with the edge. So I'm thinking if I add a lip to these end of the brackets, then I can use them as a guide like the edge of a speed square has. And so when I clamp it, that will be able to hold it in position, and it'll be flush to the front and back. So I'm going to make some of those little 1/4 inch strips I need. So I made these 4 real quick off camera, and now I'm going to use these to edge out the front. So I'm going to turn my saw to 45. I'm going to double stack these pieces and cut them both at the same time using my 12-inch DeWalt miter saw. Cutting them at the same exact time assures that they're perfectly square and 90 when I put them together. Then I'm going to test fit them and then take them over to the workbench here, lay down a framing square and line them up along the side of it. Put a little glue and pretty much pre-glue this. Just let that sit there, let that dry. Now that it's dried, I'll come back, knock a little bit of glue inside the gap off, check it for square, and we're on the money. Now these pieces can be quickly glued on with good quality glue. Gotta use enough glue here. And then I can just quickly grab my pin nailer with some short pin nails and use the pin nails until the glue holds it in place. Well, that's it for these ones. As you can see on the SketchUp model, when you clamp these on the edge, it will hold the piece of plywood in the vertical position exactly where you want it. That way you can install your pocket screws and then you're good to go. But I have another idea. So I want to take one of the ones I've already made without the lip on it, and then I want to cut 2 more finger joints into it and add a 3rd arm. You'll probably think that's crazy, but I think it's pretty awesome. Let's see if I can do it. So as you can see here on the SketchUp model, I'm going to be cutting 2 cuts on this piece. So I've got it clamped in and sitting 90. Then I'm going to cut one, clamp it back into position, and cut the 2nd groove. No problem. Pretty easy cutting across the groove. Now it matches my SketchUp model perfectly. As you can see when I zoom in, there's only a 1/4 inch of the original finger joint remaining. That looks like it may be weak, but as soon as I glue in the 3rd arm, it'll be strong as can be. Now I need to make another 2 finger joint one. So I'll be putting a sacrificial piece in to make my space, and then cutting my fingers to make that first shoulder. Then I'll square it up, tighten the clamp down, and we'll do the 2nd one. You've seen this process already. It makes it pretty nice and easy with a nice jig with a tall fence. So now we'll test fit this together. And look at that. That's pretty awesome. Let's take this over and glue this up. Pretty sweet. I had to get a little creative with the clamping on this one. I got a weird clamp, so I had to make it fit on this particular clamp. So I'll clean up the excess glue after all that. We'll let that dry. Now that it's dried, we can take it out of the clamp and then I can show it to you in its awesomeness. This thing is strong as can be now, and I'll check it for square in several directions now. It's pretty square. Now we've got to sand off the remaining of the finger. This thing's just about done. We're only sanding it flush, and there it is. Just like I imagined. So now I'm going to do some more of these 4 1/4-inch pieces. And I'm going to take it over to my miter saw again, put it at a 45. And I'm going to double stack these pieces again and cut it with my DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. There we go. Retest these fits here. And that's a nice fit. These ones I don't want to use pin nails for. No metal fasteners on this one. So I'm going to clamp it up. It's a little bit more of a task clamping it because it wants to slide around, but once you get it there, you just wipe off the excess glue. Well, we can take it out of the clamps now. It's been a while. And this project's just about done. I think I'll sand the face right here. Get that nice and smooth. Well, here they are, the triple finger jointed cabinet carcass assembly blocks. All ready to go. Now they hold small pieces like this in position. That way you're able to put your pocket screws in. So here they are. All set up. I got a whole bunch of them to use in the table saw station. Ooh, did I just say what I'm building? Ha! If you're sticking around to this late in the video, you get to know what's coming up. Well, here it is. This is what I've been waiting for a whole year to build. This is coming up here in a few weeks, so stay tuned. Nah, I just teased you there. You'll see it soon enough. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching today's video. Please give it a like, leave me a comment. If you're not already, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Check out my website, patricksworkshop.com. Thanks again. See you next time.